Smart 24, driving business.
Finally, we are back and we are summing up at this particular moment our discussion rotating around the savings schemes, but pretty much analyzing the growth of Uganda's pension sector. And well, our kind of discussion now is rotating around conversations, literally looking at the future projections of the pension sector, and then how you, a Ugandan, just like we are in here in studio, how can we get part or take charge of our savings, more so when it comes to our retirement? Because at times you get to realize that as much as we look at the economy, and of course everyone is having their own issues with the economy and how they are moving about them, but of course you always have a future to rely on as well. What will then happen in the near future when you can hardly do as much as you can currently? So, Mr. Anthony, when we look at the projection, 11 years down the road, we've seen since UBRA came into place, your achievements last year during the 10-year anniversary celebrations, there were quite phenomenal lessons that we learned. Then there are stories that were shared, different people are giving their views and how much you've shaped the entire sector. But when you look at the next years, what then are you focusing on in the next decade?
Thank you. I think the main one now, the focus in the past was to set the foundation, which we think we've now set.
Okay.
Governance and prudence in terms of doing things. Now, that has helped us to build trust. The next phase is more of enhancing our supervisory capabilities to assure the person out there that even if you set for long term, governance and prudence investment is in order, and also the regulator has the capacity and the ability to oversee, not only for the short term, but even the long term, because your money is being saved for long term. Now the focus is to bring more people on board. We think there are many people who have not yet come into this particular space, yet it is very, very critical. We think that we need to contribute to the solution to the old age poverty in this country. And one of the things, our initiative is to encourage people to save. I think with the new direction of the population, we see, I think in the next 10 years or 15 years, a big chunk of people in NSSF would be exiting. I think we've already begun to get the pinch from the midterm access. Numbers indicate otherwise. So just imagine people begin to exit. It would mean that how you would have invested would influence how you are going to live in retirement. So there is a clear framework supported by the government regulations and laws, which you can work within, invest your money in vehicles that are going to provide a return for you and protect growth under a regulated environment, and be able to provide you a cash flow in retirement. What you need is regular cash flow. And then we are looking at those new initiatives that we now have in the market, which never used to be there in the past. Things like annuities, the insurance market is offering them. With program withdrawals, your money can be paid out over time, but it's still invested in vehicles that are going to provide a solid return for you. Again, in the next 10 years, we want to focus more on, we want to engage the government to come up with new products. Apart from government securities, which are already there, we think we think they can enhance them more by looking at infrastructure projects. So we need to speak to that. The population this side, which is saving, want to associate with a success story, want to associate with having made an impact or a contribution to a vehicle that is very good to them, a health vehicle for the long term. These resources are actually very available.
Okay.
We think they can be leveraged upon. And of course, finally, from our side, we think that we maintain saving for retirement does not need a lot of money. It is a mindset that you need to change. You also need to appreciate that there are many things you spend on that you actually wouldn't necessarily need to spend on them. But if you put aside little money, in some markets they advertise them as pocket change. That's what you put aside. And put it in a vehicle or in a licensed retirement benefit scheme. Be consistent. If you're doing it daily, do it. There's some people who can now testify. Other borders. At some stage, we are going to run a program of testimonies. People have started this journey who are in 2-3 years, and they started with little money, and they are proud of it, and they were able to enhance their savings over time. For us as UBRA, we give you the assurance as the sector regulator. The sector is well regulated and steadily getting stronger in terms of oversight. The fundamentals are in place to ensure that your money is protected, not today, but in the long term and in the future. Your money will provide you a return, not only a mere return, but a return over and above the inflation. And of course, to provide you a growth of your portfolio over. We are innovating, coming up with ideas. We are supporting innovation for things that are going to come into this space. And there are things that have not been addressed in this market, like insurance for health in retirement. That's a product that is not with us as yet. It is in other jurisdictions, like in Kenya. We think it's something that can be adopted and leveraged on the framework that we have now. And of course, one thing that we always think, which of course many people don't want, is that lump sum payment, I think, is a disservice to us.
Okay.
We need regular cash flows. So how do you translate your money into a cash flow? If you can invest it in a vehicle that will give you regular cash flow, there are many there, but use an expert licensed by the regulators in the market.
Okay. And of course, first, I would want to say it's good to have you here in this kind of conversation. It has been really impactful and quite a breathtaking one as well. But now your parting shots as we are winding up with our conversation.
Thank you. I want to thank you, Jerome, for giving us this platform, and of course the TV, the
management.
The management, you've really been very supportive to our cause. If there's any TV that has always knocked on our doors for information, for sharing, and for space, you've created room for us. We don't take it for granted. The population out there that has worked with us for the last 11, 12 years to grow this sector, to build the confidence, to comply with the requirement, to adhere to the set rules and standards, those who have helped us in developing these regulations and laws that we are proud of to provide the trust and confidence. We are really very, very grateful. We just want to assure you that the sector is steadily growing, strong. Your money is protected as long as it is invested or saved with a licensed retirement benefit scheme, licensed by UBRA. You also need to know who are the fund managers who are supporting that scheme of yours. We license them. We can assure you that we shall follow your money to ensure that it's protected. We shall whip your trustees or board of directors to ensure that they comply with the requirements and they adhere to the fiduciary duties of their members. And we shall also ensure that the members out there get the right information and get regular updates. Transparency, accountability are our core values, and we really treasure them so much. Thank you for the opportunity to share with you and also learn from you.
And of course, for all our dear viewers who started with us from the hour of 7, many thanks for being part of the entire show today. It has been very, very educative, if I'm to use that for a word. But of course, the conversations were really into the in-depth analysis of Uganda's pension sector. Earlier on this week, there was a report that was relating Uganda's pension growing its key assets by $400 million. That is post-COVID. A report that was released, that is close of business 2022 December. So when you look at this, the industry's investment portfolio similarly grew at around 17.9 trillion Ugandan shillings, according to the report further. So as we look deeper into encouraging you to get into the pension sector, we're also encouraging you to save. And this time around, the better way is to save for investments. There are lots of platforms lately that give you that advantage to save your money somewhere into the intangible assets for, at least they will be giving you a return on investment as much as the interest grows in the same. But of course, the point is coming to an end. And I've been having the CEO of the Uganda Retirement Benefits Regulatory Authority, that is Mr. Martin Anthony Subuga, who has been giving us all this and more of the conversations that you've been able to listen to and view as well. But if at all you've missed our conversations today, you can go into our YouTube channel. That is where you will be able to at least get in touch with these conversations and at least understand more or do a rerun of what we've been having this evening. But not only that, you can follow us on our socials, Twitter, Smart24TV now, Instagram is Smart24TV. Then also remember our website is www.smart24.tv/news for real-time business updates, both local and international. And well, of course, from the entire team at Plot 42 Nile Avenue, I would request you to stick around because at 9 p.m. the bulletin will kick off business today with Rona Nahabwe. So stick around for more business information here on Smart 24 as we continue to drive your business. Good evening.